Welcome to Messages from the Universe with Laurie Wondra. Laurie is an internationally renowned psychic medium, author, and shamanic practitioner, sharing insights from angels, guides, wisdom keepers, and teachers of the universe that help you navigate life's mysteries and transformations.
Hello, I am Laurie Wondra, and thank you for listening. We all have bad days, but what do we do when we have those bad days? Or do we label them something else? Do they create lessons in patience? Do they realign us? Are there quiet messages that life sends us, and we're interpreting them as bad or difficult? In contrast, there are days where everything flows easily. The sun seems brighter, conversations move effortless, we tend to laugh or smile a lot more, we feel aligned with ourselves and the world around us. And then there are other days, the ones we rarely talk about openly, where nothing seems to go right. You might wake up tired even after a full night of sleep, coffee spills, technology refuses to cooperate, a conversation that you thought was going to be easy or smooth suddenly becomes tense. Your body might feel heavy and sluggish. Your thoughts feel scattered. And by midday, you might find yourself wondering what or where did it go wrong, and why this day seems determined to push against you. Now, every human experiences these moments. Bad days or times or moments like this are part of the rhythm of being alive. Yet, in culture that often celebrates productivity, positivity, and constant forward movement, we sometimes believe something is wrong if we have a day or a moment where we struggle. We imagine that if we were more disciplined, perhaps more enlightened, more spiritually aware, that these difficult days or moments would never occur. But the truth is, even the most centered, wise, spiritually connected people have difficult days. Bad days are not evidence of failure. They're signals. They're invitations. And they're certainly messages from life asking us to pause, to listen, to realign, to do something different. And sometimes the most meaningful lessons arrive quietly, like the slow ripening of a fruit on a small tree. So last fall, as the temperatures in Minnesota began to drop and the air carried the first hint of winter, I had a Myers lemon tree on my deck outside, and I brought that lemon tree indoors. It had spent the entire summer outside soaking in the sunlight and warmth. And when I moved it into the house for the colder months, I noticed something small and hopeful. A tiny lemon had formed on one of the branches. It was no bigger than the tip of my thumb, bright green, perfectly shaped, and I remember thinking, how wonderful, maybe it will ripen over the winter. Weeks passed, then months. Winter came and is going, snow falling quietly outside the windows, while this lemon tree sits near the light at my front door. The little lemon remained on the branch. Still there, still green, growing only slightly, but taking its time. And if I'm honest, there's moments when I wondered if it would ever ripen at all. People would touch it and ask if it was real. I even thought perhaps it was not even a lemon, but maybe it was mislabeled, and maybe I had a lime tree. And then something unexpected began to happen. Recently, I noticed a new bloom forming on the same tree, a delicate bunch of white flowers opening while the original lemon was still slowly maturing on the branch. One fruit is still ripening and another life is just beginning. And in that moment, I realized the tree was teaching something quite profound. Nature does not rush its timing. Growth, completion, and new beginnings can coexist all at the same time. So we have this myth of the perfect day. One of the most unrealistic expectations we place on ourselves is the belief that life should move smoothly all the time. Social media, productivity culture, and even some spiritual teachings can unintentionally reinforce this illusion. We see the highlight reels of other people's lives, the successful projects, the beautiful vacations, and the smiling photos, and forget that every person is navigating invisible struggles behind the scenes. Life itself moves in cycles. Nature demonstrates this clearly. The oceans have tides, the moon has phases, the seasons rotate between growth and rest, and my lemon tree follows this rhythm too. The fruit does not appear instantly. It forms slowly, almost invisibly. Weeks pass where it seems like there's nothing happening, yet inside the fruit, inside the branches, inside the roots, there's quiet transformation unfolding. And human energy follows similar rhythms. There are periods of expansion, inspiration, and clarity, but there's also times of reflection, exhaustion, confusion, and sometimes emotional turbulence. Bad days are not interruptions in the pattern of life. They're part of the pattern. So what causes what we might label a bad day? Well, bad days rarely have a single cause. They are often the result of many small factors interacting at once. Sometimes the reasons are physical, lack of sleep, hormonal changes, illness or inflammation, nutritional imbalance, or even dehydration. And sometimes the causes are emotional or physiological, stress accumulating over time, unresolved conversations, grief or disappointment, and sometimes even feeling overwhelmed. But sometimes the reasons are energetic or environmental, life transitions, seasonal changes, emotional overload, or being disconnected from nature. When too many pressures accumulate without pause, the system begins asking for a reset. In some ways, a bad day is like that tiny lemon on the tree. From the outside, it looks as though nothing is happening, but internally, something is working its way towards completion. The hidden wisdom is often inside those difficult days. And many spiritual traditions teach that challenges are not punishment, but teachers. This does not mean we must pretend difficult experiences are enjoyable. Frustration, sadness, and exhaustion are real feelings that deserve acknowledgement. However, when we allow ourselves to pause and listen, bring humor to it sometimes, we often discover that difficult days carry useful information. A bad day might be revealing that you're overcommitted and you need rest. You've been ignoring an emotional truth, or a relationship needs some honest communication. Maybe your path needs adjustment. Maybe you are being asked to slow down. Nature demonstrates this beautifully. My lemon tree did not rush the fruit. It did not force the process. The lemon is ripening in its own time, even while a new blossom is forming. And life rarely asks us to move faster. More often, it asks us to move in rhythm. Here's a few gentle ways to realign when your day feels off. When a day begins to spiral downward, the instinct is often to push harder, just push through it. But realignment rarely comes from force. It comes from reconnection. So I invite you to pause and breathe, because when stress rises, breathing often becomes shallow. Slow breathing helps calm the nervous system. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds and then hold that briefly, and then exhale slowly for 6 counts. A few minutes can reset the body's stress response. Another option is to step outside. Nature recalibrates our human energy. Even a few minutes of sunlight, some fresh air, or simply standing near a tree can restore perspective. Sometimes the fastest way to clear your mind is to simply step outdoors, or changing the inner conversation. On difficult days, the mind often becomes self-critical. So instead of saying, "Why can't I handle this?" try saying, Today is heavy, but I know it will pass. And tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is different. Use gentle words and create emotional space to help you navigate through a difficult time. Space for healing or just being and learning. Simplify the day. Not every day needs to be productive in the traditional sense. Sometimes progress happens through rest, reflection, or quiet thinking. Just as the lemon tree rests during the winter months, humans also need periods of slower movement. We can't fill every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Another option is do one small act of care. Make yourself some tea, take a warm shower, call a supportive friend, listen to some music, get up and dance. Small acts of care remind the body and mind that we are safe and we're supported. As I'm recording this, I'm looking out my window. We've just had a massive blizzard, and it reminds me of emotional weather versus personal identity. One of the most important lessons in personal growth is learning the difference between temporary emotional weather and our deeper identity. Feelings move like clouds across the sky or a storm. Some days are bright and clear and other days carry storms, but the sky itself remains unchanged. Your deeper self, your wisdom, your compassion, and your resilience, that remains intact even during difficult moments. Bad days are simply passing weather systems of the soul. And remember that growth happens quietly. One of the things the lemon tree is reminding me is that transformation often happens slowly and quietly. We live in a world that celebrates rapid results, but nature does not operate that way. A tree does not rush its fruit. A seed does not bloom overnight. Growth often happens beneath the surface long before we can see it. And sometimes what feels like a bad day is actually a day of invisible progress. The roots are strengthening. The fruit is forming. The blossom is preparing. And remembering that tomorrow is another energy. One of the most comforting truths about difficult days is that they don't last forever. Energy changes. Perspectives shift. A good night's sleep can reset the nervous system and bring clarity that felt impossible the day before. And just as the lemon will eventually turn from green to yellow, the moment will ripen. And sometimes, just like on my tree, a new blossom will appear before the previous fruit has even finished growing. Life is not linear. It's layered. And a gentle reminder is that if today happens to be one of those difficult days, please remember this. You're not behind. You're not failing. You are human. Some parts of your life may still be ripening. Other parts may be already ready to bloom. Some parts might be already blooming. And just like this lemon tree, life holds both at the same time. So if you feel heavy, slow down, breathe. Trust the timing of your own growth, because sometimes the message hidden inside a difficult day is simply this. Not everything that is growing can be rushed. Some things, wisdom, healing, understanding, ripen slowly. And when they do, they are worth the wait. I truly believe humans are forever blooming and we're forever ripening. We just have different expectations. And your bad days, you can call them whatever you want. But my wishes for you is that you feel blessed and loved and understood, and that the universe supports you no matter what kind of day or season you're having. I'm Laurie Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe. For information about Laurie Wondra's current events or to schedule a private session, visit her website, yourlifecore.com. You can also subscribe to her monthly newsletter. Laurie also shares inspirational and informational messages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.